What if the world's next legendary gemstone isn't a diamond, ruby, or emerald? While most people keep chasing the same famous names, collectors are quietly watching a very different group of gemstones. Some come from mines that may never produce treasures like them again. Others display natural phenomena so extraordinary they still amaze gemologists today. By the end of this countdown, you'll discover 10 remarkable gemstones that could shape the collector market before 2030, and why overlooking them today may become tomorrow's biggest regret. Let's begin. Number 10. Imperial Topaz. Most collectors searching for tomorrow's standout gemstones instinctively look toward the same familiar names: diamonds, rubies, emeralds, and sapphires. Yet history has a habit of surprising us. Some of the world's most remarkable treasures don't disappear because they lose their beauty. They simply fall out of fashion. And years later, when attention finally returns, many people wonder how they overlooked them in the first place. That may be exactly what's happening with Imperial Topaz. Unlike the inexpensive blue topaz commonly found in jewelry stores, Imperial Topaz is an entirely different gemstone in both rarity and reputation. Displaying rich shades of golden honey, peach, orange, and delicate pink, it represents the finest and rarest variety of natural topaz. Nearly every world-class specimen comes from a remarkably small mining district near Ouro Preto in Brazil's Minas Gerais state, a region that has supplied exceptional gemstones for centuries. Its story stretches back to Brazil's Imperial era, when these warm, glowing crystals became closely associated with prestige and nobility. Their exceptional color earned them the name Imperial Topaz, and for generations they were admired as one of the country's greatest natural treasures. Yet as diamonds and other famous colored gemstones captured global attention during the 20th century, Imperial Topaz gradually slipped into the background. That quiet decline created one of the gemstone world's biggest misconceptions. Ask most people about topaz today, and they'll probably picture the bright blue stones displayed in shopping malls. What many don't realize is that those gems are often treated to achieve their vivid color. Fine Imperial Topaz, by contrast, owes its beauty entirely to nature. In the eyes of gemologists and experienced collectors, it belongs in a completely different category. Today, subtle changes in the collector market are giving this forgotten royal gemstone a second look. Rather than pursuing only the most recognizable names, many collectors are placing greater value on natural rarity, documented origin, and stones with compelling historical stories. Imperial Topaz quietly offers all three. It doesn't dominate auction headlines or luxury advertising campaigns, but its appeal lies somewhere more enduring: a limited historic source and a legacy that has survived for centuries. No one can predict which gemstones will define the collector market by 2030. But if current trends continue, Imperial Topaz may prove that some of the greatest opportunities aren't found in newly discovered treasures. They're hidden within remarkable stones the world simply stopped paying attention to. But while Imperial Topaz's future depends on a single historic mining region in Brazil, the next gemstone faces an even greater challenge. Its finest source has produced breathtaking treasures for more than a century. Yet many experts believe the best examples are becoming increasingly difficult to find. Number 9. Black Opal. Sometimes a gemstone becomes more valuable not because it shines brighter, but because it grows harder to find. Deep beneath the rugged landscape of Lightning Ridge, Australia, miners have spent more than a century chasing flashes of color hidden inside ordinary-looking rocks. Each discovery has become a little more difficult than the last. That gemstone is black opal. Unlike the more common white opal, black opal forms against a naturally dark body tone that dramatically intensifies its play of color. Brilliant reds, electric blues, vivid greens, and fiery oranges appear almost suspended in darkness, creating an effect unlike any other gemstone on Earth. It's this extraordinary contrast that has made black opal the most prized variety of opal among collectors. The story begins in the remote outback of Lightning Ridge, a place widely regarded as the world's finest source of black opal. For generations, miners have searched its ancient underground seams, knowing that thousands of ordinary stones may reveal nothing before a single exceptional specimen finally appears. That uncertainty has become part of the gem's legend. Here's what surprises many people. Most assume the brightest opals are automatically the most valuable. In reality, the finest black opals owe their reputation to something less obvious: their naturally dark background. The darker the body tone, the more vividly the colors appear, transforming light into an almost surreal display that few other gemstones can match. As collectors increasingly focus on rarity and documented origin, exceptional black opals from Lightning Ridge continue to attract attention. No one can predict how the market will evolve by 2030, but one fact is unlikely to change. Every remarkable black opal begins in a place that exists nowhere else. As the supply of top-quality stones becomes more limited, replacing the very best examples may become increasingly difficult. But while black opal captivates collectors with extraordinary color, the next gemstone astonishes them for an entirely different reason. It belongs to a family most people consider ordinary, yet it produces more fire than a diamond. Number 8. Demantoid Garnet. When people think of the world's most brilliant gemstones, diamonds almost always top the list. But hidden within a gemstone family that many dismiss as ordinary lies a remarkable exception. One that produces even more fiery flashes of color than a diamond. For more than a century, it has quietly fascinated collectors while remaining largely unknown to the public. That gemstone is Demantoid Garnet. Discovered in Russia's Ural Mountains during the late 19th century, Demantoid immediately caught the attention of Europe's elite. Its vivid green color and extraordinary optical fire made it a favorite of the legendary jeweler Carl Fabergé, whose masterpieces helped introduce the gem to Russian aristocracy. For a brief moment in history, Demantoid became one of the most desirable green gemstones in the world. Its greatest surprise, however, isn't its history, it's its optics. Demantoid possesses an exceptionally high level of dispersion, the property that separates white light into flashes of spectral color. In fact, it displays even more fire than diamond, creating brilliant bursts of red, blue, yellow, and green as it moves under light. Combined with its rich emerald green color, the effect is unlike almost any other natural gemstone. Another feature makes the finest Russian stones even more desirable. Under magnification, many contain delicate horsetail inclusions, tiny golden fibers once considered imperfections, but now recognized as one of the strongest indicators of natural Russian origin. In the collector's world, these inclusions often increase confidence rather than diminish value. Today, exceptional Demantoid garnets remain scarce, especially stones with vivid color, strong fire, and classic Russian characteristics. As collectors continue looking beyond the traditional Big Four gemstones, Demantoid has quietly regained attention, not because it follows fashion, but because it offers something increasingly rare: beauty, history, and unmistakable individuality. But while Demantoid amazed collectors with its extraordinary fire, the next gemstone is winning attention for a completely different reason. Some collectors now choose it over emerald itself, not because it's more famous, but because nature made it remarkably different. Number 7. Tsavorite Garnet. For centuries, emerald has been the undisputed king of green gemstones. Its name alone has become synonymous with rarity and luxury. But deep within the gem trade, another vibrant green stone has been steadily earning the respect of collectors. Not by imitating emerald, but by offering something many buyers never expected. That gemstone is Tsavorite Garnet. Its story began in the late 1960s, when British geologist Campbell Bridges discovered vivid green garnets along the border of Kenya and Tanzania. Unlike the dark red garnets most people were familiar with, these crystals displayed an astonishing emerald green color created by traces of vanadium and chromium. Recognizing its extraordinary potential, Tiffany & Company later introduced the gemstone to the international market, naming it after Kenya's Tsavo National Park. What truly separates Tsavorite from emerald, however, isn't its color. It's its clarity. While many emeralds undergo clarity enhancement to improve their appearance, fine Tsavorite is typically appreciated in its natural state. It also has no cleavage, making it more resistant to accidental breakage during everyday wear. For collectors who value untreated gemstones and long-term durability, those qualities have become increasingly attractive. Another surprise lies in its rarity. Although Tsavorite is found in East Africa, Deposits capable of producing fine gem-quality material are remarkably limited. Stones above 5 carats are exceptionally uncommon, and gems with rich, evenly saturated green color become dramatically rarer as their size increases. Finding one is difficult. Finding an exceptional one is another challenge entirely. As interest continues shifting toward natural-colored gemstones with documented origins and minimal treatment, Tsavorite has quietly strengthened its position among serious collectors. It doesn't carry the centuries-old fame of emerald, but it offers something many modern buyers now appreciate even more: authenticity, rarity, and outstanding natural beauty. No one knows which gemstones will capture the greatest attention by 2030. Yet Tsavorite has already proven that recognition doesn't always belong to the oldest names. Sometimes it belongs to the gemstone that quietly delivers everything collectors have been searching for all along. But while Tsavorite can be found in a handful of locations across East Africa, the next gemstone comes from just one small place on Earth. If that source were ever exhausted, there would be nowhere else to replace it. Number 6. Tanzanite. Imagine if every natural diamond on Earth came from a single valley no larger than a small town. That level of scarcity would seem almost impossible. Yet one of the world's most recognizable gemstones already lives under exactly those conditions, and its future depends entirely on a place few people have ever visited. That gemstone is Tanzanite. Its story began in 1967 beneath the foothills of Mount Kilimanjaro, where brilliant blue-violet crystals were discovered in the Merelani Hills of northern Tanzania. Recognizing that this extraordinary gem deserved global attention, Tiffany and Company introduced it to the international market and gave it the name Tanzanite, transforming an obscure mineral into one of the 20th century's greatest gemstone discoveries. What makes Tanzanite truly remarkable isn't just its striking color, it's where that color comes from. Unlike sapphire, emerald, or tourmaline, Tanzanite has only one commercially significant source on Earth. Every natural gemstone of this quality traces its origin to a narrow mining area only a few kilometers long. If that deposit is ever exhausted, no equivalent source is known to exist anywhere else. That extraordinary rarity has quietly shaped the way collectors view the gemstone. While beautiful tanzanites can still be found today, large stones displaying rich violet-blue color, exceptional clarity, and strong pleochroism, showing different shades of blue and violet as they move in the light, are becoming increasingly difficult to obtain. For many collectors, it's not simply another beautiful gem, it's a finite natural resource. The biggest misconception is that Tanzanite is relatively common because it's widely recognized. In reality, fame and abundance are not the same thing. Its popularity came from successful marketing, but its rarity comes from geology, and geology cannot be replicated. As collectors continue seeking gemstones with documented origins, natural rarity, and compelling stories, Tanzanite remains one of the few modern discoveries that combines all three. No one can predict which gemstones will define the luxury market by 2030, but few possess a story as extraordinary as a world-famous gem that exists in only one place on Earth. But even Tanzanite's one-of-a-kind origin couldn't prepare collectors for what happened next. The next gemstone didn't become famous because of where it was found. It became famous because it completely changed the way the world looked at an entire gemstone family. Number 5. Mahenge Spinel. For centuries, one of the gemstone world's greatest cases of mistaken identity shaped the fortunes of an entire mineral. Some of history's most celebrated rubies were eventually revealed to be something completely different. Then, in the early 21st century, a discovery in East Africa changed everything. That gemstone is Mahenge Spinel. In 2007, miners near the town of Mahenge in Tanzania uncovered Spinel crystals unlike anything the market had seen before. Their vivid neon pink, intense red, and glowing raspberry hues immediately caught the attention of gem dealers around the world. What had long been considered a collector's secret suddenly became one of the most exciting discoveries in modern colored gemstones. But Mahenge Spinel's greatest strength isn't just its extraordinary color, it's its independence. For generations, Spinel lived in ruby's shadow, often dismissed as an inexpensive substitute despite its remarkable beauty. Modern gemology changed that perception completely. Spinel is its own mineral species, requiring no routine clarity enhancement and offering excellent durability with a Mohs hardness of 8. Today, collectors no longer see fine Spinel as an alternative to ruby. They recognize it as a world-class gemstone in its own right. The finest Mahenge Spinels are becoming increasingly difficult to replace. The original discovery produced a surge of exceptional material, but stones displaying vivid neon color, outstanding clarity, and larger sizes remain genuinely uncommon. As supply of top-quality gems has tightened, demand from collectors and high-end jewelers has remained consistently strong. Perhaps the biggest surprise is how quickly perceptions changed. A gemstone once overlooked by much of the jewelry world is now appearing in prestigious auctions and high jewelry collections. Not because fashion demanded it, but because collectors finally recognized what had been there all along. No one knows which gemstones will define the next generation of collecting. But Mahenge Spinel demonstrates an important lesson. Sometimes the greatest opportunity isn't a newly created trend. It's a remarkable gemstone the market spent decades underestimating. But while Mahenge Spinel earned its reputation through a modern rediscovery, the next gemstone has been treasured for centuries. For millions of people, it represents far more than beauty. It symbolizes heritage, prosperity, and one of the world's most enduring forms of wealth. Number 4. Jadeite. Most gemstones are admired for their beauty. A rare few become symbols of wealth, but only one has inspired collectors to spend tens of millions of dollars on a single necklace. Not because it sparkles like a diamond, but because it represents something far more powerful: status, heritage, and legacy. That gemstone is jadeite. Its reputation stretches back thousands of years, but the modern collector market tells an equally extraordinary story. The finest Imperial green jadeite, sourced primarily from northern Myanmar, is prized for its rich emerald-like color, exceptional translucency, and remarkably fine texture. These qualities are so rare that even slight differences in color or clarity can dramatically influence a stone's value. One of jadeite's most defining moments came in 2014, when the legendary Hutton M. Devani necklace, a magnificent strand of Imperial jadeite beads originally owned by heiress Barbara Hutton, sold for more than $27 million at Sotheby's, Hong Kong. The sale wasn't simply another auction record. It confirmed jadeite's place among the world's most coveted collector gemstones. But here's what surprises most people. Many assume that all jade is the same. It isn't. The word jade actually refers to two completely different minerals, jadeite and nephrite. While both have been treasured throughout history, only fine jadeite possesses the combination of vivid color, translucency, and rarity that places it among the most valuable gemstones ever traded. Today, demand for exceptional jadeite remains especially strong among ultra-high net worth collectors, particularly across Asia, where the gemstone has long symbolized prosperity, protection, and family legacy. Unlike many luxury purchases driven by changing fashion, jadeite is often acquired with the intention of being passed from one generation to the next. That cultural significance gives it a unique position in the collector market. No one can predict exactly how the gemstone market will evolve by 2030, yet history has shown that truly exceptional jadeite rarely loses its appeal. When rarity is combined with centuries of cultural importance and an increasingly limited supply of top-quality material, its reputation becomes difficult to replace. But even jadeite's extraordinary prestige isn't built on the rarest color in the gemstone world. The next gemstone is so uncommon that experts still debate exactly where its breathtaking color begins and where it ends. Number 3. Padparadscha sapphire. Some gemstones are valuable because they're large, others because they're old. But one of the world's rarest sapphires owes its reputation to something far more elusive, a color so extraordinary that even experienced gemologists sometimes disagree on where it begins and where it ends. That gemstone is Padparadscha sapphire. Its name comes from the Sinhalese word for the delicate blossom of the lotus flower, a fitting comparison for a gem that displays an almost impossible balance of soft pink and warm orange. Mined most famously in Sri Lanka, with smaller deposits in Madagascar and Tanzania. True Padparadscha sapphires are extraordinarily uncommon because nature rarely creates this perfect blend of colors. And that's exactly what makes them so fascinating. Most people assume any pink-orange sapphire can be called a Padparadscha. In reality, the world's leading gemological laboratories apply exceptionally strict standards. If a stone appears too pink, it becomes a pink sapphire. Too orange, and it may simply be classified as an orange sapphire. Only the rare stones that achieve the delicate harmony between both colors earn the coveted Padparadscha name. That subtle distinction has made Padparadscha one of the most sought-after sapphires among collectors. Exceptional natural stones with balanced color, excellent clarity, and no evidence of treatment are remarkably scarce. Their rarity has been reflected in prestigious international auctions, where outstanding examples have achieved remarkable prices and reinforced the gem's reputation as one of the world's finest colored sapphires. Yet its greatest appeal goes beyond rarity alone. Unlike the deep blue traditionally associated with sapphires, Padparadscha offers something entirely unexpected, a color that feels almost impossible to describe. Depending on the light, it can evoke the warmth of a tropical sunrise, the soft glow of a lotus blossom, or the final moments of sunset. No photograph fully captures its beauty, which is precisely why collectors treasure exceptional examples so highly. No one can say which gemstones will define the collector market by 2030. But if rarity is measured by nature's unwillingness to repeat itself, Padparadscha sapphire has already secured a place among the world's most extraordinary treasures. But even this breathtaking sapphire cannot perform what the next gemstone does naturally. With nothing more than a change of light, it appears to transform into an entirely different gem, one of nature's most astonishing optical illusions. Number 2. Alexandrite. Most gemstones reveal their beauty the moment you see them. One extraordinary gem waits until the light changes. In daylight, it can appear a rich bluish green. Under warm evening light, that same stone may transform into vivid purplish red. It isn't an illusion, a trick of the eye, or a modern treatment. It's one of nature's rarest optical phenomena. That gemstone is Alexandrite. Its story began in the Ural Mountains of Russia during the early 19th century, where miners uncovered a gemstone unlike anything they had seen before. According to tradition, it was named after the future Tsar Alexander II, and its dramatic green-to-red transformation closely matched the military colors of Imperial Russia. Almost overnight, Alexandrite became one of the empire's most treasured gemstones, admired not only for its rarity, but for a phenomenon that seemed almost impossible. And that's where the real surprise begins. Many people believe every Alexandrite changes color dramatically. In reality, only a tiny percentage display the vivid transformation collectors dream of. The finest natural stones shift from saturated green or bluish green in daylight to rich red or purplish red under incandescent light. Weaker color changes are far more common, making exceptional Alexandrites extraordinarily scarce. That rarity has kept demand remarkably strong among serious collectors. While additional deposits have been discovered in Brazil, Sri Lanka, and East Africa, gemstones matching the finest historic Russian material remain exceptionally uncommon. Large natural Alexandrites with outstanding color change rarely appear on the market, and when they do, they attract intense interest from collectors, museums, and high-end jewelers alike. Perhaps the greatest misconception is that Alexandrite is valuable simply because it changes color. The truth is far more demanding. Collectors evaluate the strength of the color change, the quality of each color, clarity, size, and origin. Only stones that excel across all of these characteristics become truly exceptional. No one knows which gemstone will become the defining collector icon of the next decade. But Alexandrite has already achieved something almost no other gemstone can claim. It doesn't simply reflect light, it appears to become an entirely different gemstone as the day turns to night. Few natural treasures inspire that kind of wonder, and even fewer remain this rare. But even Alexandrite's extraordinary transformation isn't the final chapter. The next gemstone didn't astonish the world by changing color. It changed the gemstone industry itself. proving that one modern discovery could redefine what collectors believed was possible. Number 1. Paraíba Tourmaline. Every generation has a gemstone that changes the rules, not simply because it's rarer than the rest, or because it sells for extraordinary prices, but because it forces collectors, gemologists, and luxury jewelers to rethink what nature is capable of creating. Before the late 1980s, few believed a tourmaline could ever stand beside the world's most coveted gemstones. Then everything changed. That gemstone is Paraíba Tourmaline. Its story begins in the rugged hills of Paraíba State, Brazil, where miner Heitor Dimas Barbosa spent years searching for something he was convinced lay hidden beneath the earth. Despite repeated failures and dwindling support, he refused to abandon his vision. In 1989, his persistence was rewarded with a discovery unlike anything the gemstone world had ever seen, an electric blue-green tourmaline whose vivid neon glow seemed almost impossible to believe. The secret wasn't simply its color, it was copper. Tiny traces of copper within the crystal create an intensity unlike any other natural gemstone. Under the right light, Paraíba tourmaline appears to glow from within, displaying brilliant shades of electric blue, turquoise, and neon green that no photograph can fully capture. It wasn't just another beautiful gem, it introduced an entirely new visual identity to the gemstone world. Its rarity only deepened its legend. The finest Paraíba tourmalines originally came from a single region in Brazil, and high-quality material was limited from the very beginning. Although copper-bearing tourmalines have since been discovered in Mozambique and Nigeria, exceptional Brazilian stones remain among the most sought-after treasures in the collector market. Perhaps the biggest misconception is that Paraíba tourmaline is simply another variety of tourmaline. It isn't. For serious collectors, Paraíba represents a category of its own. Outstanding examples have appeared in prestigious international auctions and high jewelry collections, earning recognition not because of clever marketing, but because no other gemstone combines such extraordinary color, rarity, and modern discovery in quite the same way. No one can predict which gemstones will define the collector market by 2030. But history offers an important lesson. The discoveries that reshape an industry rarely announce themselves in advance. They begin quietly, hidden beneath ordinary ground, waiting for someone willing to believe they exist. Paraíba tourmaline has already done something very few gemstones ever accomplish. It didn't simply become valuable. It changed the way the world defines a truly extraordinary gemstone. What if the world's next legendary gemstone isn't a diamond, ruby, or emerald? While most people keep chasing the same famous names, collectors are quietly watching a very different group of gemstones. Some come from mines that may never produce treasures like them again. Others display natural phenomena so extraordinary they still amaze gemologists today. By the end of this countdown, you'll discover 10 remarkable gemstones that could shape the collector market before 2030, and why overlooking them today may become tomorrow's biggest regret. Let's begin.